Hello internet friends, I'm Vin Bada Bing, and while this video is later than I would have liked to originally have posted it, I wanted to highlight my experience and progress during my second high-performance driver's education at Pitt Race. It was put on again by Autointerests during August 30th and 31st. This is a continuation of my series after my first video highlighting my experience with Autointerests at Pitt Race. I continued to learn a lot, got some better data and some better videos, as I'm hoping you'll see later in the video. And more importantly, I had a ton of fun with a lot of great people. Here are my accommodations for the weekend. Facing the track. Up near my instructor from last time, Mike. Take a peek inside. May not be a, 5-star resort, but I've got my sleeping bag, my tools, my clothes, some water on the other side of the tent. All in all, not too shabby. I had moved on from the first-timers group to the novice instructed group for this weekend. I had 2 new instructors for the event, 1 for each day, and it was nice to get additional opinions and feedback from other people to try to improve my skills. As a novice driver, I still went to car control after my first on-track session to make sure that I was still comfortable with managing the weight transfer of the car during the slalom. Fortunately, I did well during my first session, and the instructor said that I could be dismissed for the rest of car control. I wanted to do 1 more just to make sure that I was feeling comfortable, so I got back in line to do the next round. As I was waiting in line for my turn to go again, I saw somebody get out of his C5 Corvette and start walking over to me. It turned out that it was his first track day, and the instructor had asked him to ride along with me to see how I navigated the car control slalom, and so that he could see how it felt with the weight transfer in the car. It was quite a bit of a confidence boost for me. This is not an example of a perfect run, but hopefully you can notice the weight transfer through the slalom. My first day at the event went really well. My instructor, Nate, was really quick to mark off the skills that he felt that I was demonstrating in the Autointerests My Learning platform, partially because there are a lot of skills for the novice groups, partially because I do think that I was learning pretty quickly, and mostly because Nate was really quick about marking off the skills in between sessions as opposed to at the end of the day. I won the award for Most Improved Driver for the first day. This was great, and I was fortunate enough to have my wife and some of my family there when the award was actually announced. As part of this award, I was given a $50 gift certificate to Summit Racing, as well as some Autointerest points that go toward reducing the costs of future Autointerest track days. What good is a track video without some drama at the track? On the second day, there was an exercise for all the novice drivers after our first on-track session near the car control section. And the point of the exercise was to put reference markers on our car so that we could tell where the edge of our car was when it was just hanging off the edge of the track. We parked, popped our hoods, and listened to the instructions for the exercise. When I went to get back in my car to start it up, it did not crank over. I gave the car another 10 minutes or so to cool down further while the rest of the participants went through and did the exercise. And fortunately, it did end up starting after that. At that point, everything seemed fine. All of the gauges seemed normal. I didn't have any leaks or anything like that. So it was a little bit concerning, but fortunately for the rest of the weekend, there weren't any other issues. After I got home, there were a couple other times that I had the same no crank condition just driving around town. After getting towed once, getting a bump start tow from my stepsister another time, and a few other frustrating events, I got around to cleaning the contacts for the ignition switch, as well as ultimately replacing the starter motor. What I think has happened is that the starter ended up getting overheated due to the on-track, and especially because I have aftermarket headers that seem to wrap right around the starter. So I have replaced the starter. I did put some heat shield tape on the replacement starter, and so far everything has been going well. I eventually learned enough skills and proved my awareness on track, and I was promoted to the novice solo category for the last open session of the weekend. My lap times for the weekend slowly progressed from the low 2-minute teens down to my best lap, according to my track timer, at 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Here's the clip of my best lap. This was my first time being on track solo, and because it was the open group, higher skill level drivers were also allowed to be on track at the same time. I waited a little bit after the start of the session for the more experienced, faster guys to kind of go out, get it out of their system, and come off track, and I went out there after it was a bit more of an empty track. Since I was out there on an open track and I had less weight since it was just myself in the car, I managed to put my best time down at 2:05. Unfortunately, there has been some bad news as well. Shortly before the event, I learned that the owners of Autointerest had decided to sell the organization and focus more of their time on their other business ventures that are demanding more. Totally understandable, but as of the time of posting this video, the future of Autointerest is unknown. This was the last Autointerest event at Pitt Race with the current owners, so there was definitely a bit of a somber vibe, a little camaraderie as well to celebrate the last event there. The week following this event was the last event at all for Autointerests under the current ownership at Mid-Ohio. For next season, I was planning on doing more HPDE events at Pitt Race, as well as looking to start to increase my knowledge base and start to learn other tracks like Nelson Ledges in Mid-Ohio, hopefully with Autointerests under new ownership. And then to really pile on the bad news, several weeks after this event, the community learned that Pitt Race is being sold, and 2025 is expected to be the last year of racing. As of the time of posting this video, the details for next year have not been officially announced, and I'll hold off on sharing any rumors that I've heard to avoid spreading any possible misinformation. There is a campaign that I've seen started at savepittrace.org, as well as links to a change.org petition to try to convince local officials to intervene and potentially keep Pitt Race operating as our home racetrack. Although this is just my first year of track driving, I think I'm hooked. I'm looking forward to making modifications in the off season, mostly better seats and harnesses, which the Summit Racing gift card will definitely help to pay for. I'm also planning on making improvements to how I'm capturing data and recording track videos so that these videos can ultimately be better. I'm looking forward to learning new tracks and continuing to improve my skills, and hopefully continuing to improve at Pitt Race in particular. I hope that I'll be able to continue my journey with Auto Interests, but even if I can't, I'm sure I'll be able to find another great group of individuals that just loves to share their knowledge and love of motorsports. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.